Welcome to another episode of 10 Words or Less, in which I ask brief questions of interesting people and request brief answers in return. Today's participant has a remarkable path of success that began on a dairy farm north of Toronto and hasn't reached its end yet. She's the founder and CEO of Well Coaches, which teaches coaching. She's a co-founder of the Institute of Coaching at McLean Hospital, which is affiliated with Harvard. She helped develop what led to the Institute of Lifestyle Medicine at the Joslin Diabetes Center, and she's still an advisor there. More recently, she's the founder of the co-founder of the National Consortium for Credentialing Health and Wellness Coaches, and she's only 24. Okay, that part's not true. Here's my usual caution to the folks playing at home. 10 words or less is a mindset, not a limit, so please, no counting. As an old college pal of mine used to say, let's see you do it, then spout off. I should mention, I am partway through an 18-week Well Coaches course, so I'm about to interview not my teacher, but the boss of all my teachers. And if this doesn't go well, it could definitely hurt my grade. Please welcome Margaret Moore. Hi, Margaret. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Michael. That was a succinct and lovely intro.
Thank you. So this is I always like to start things off going well by asking a question whose answer I already know, but I ask it anyway. Please spell your first and last names, or as many names as you have, that so that they'll appear correctly, and I'll have no excuse.
Okay. M-A-R-G-A-R-E-T. That's Margaret. And M-O-O-R-E. That's Moore.
Excellent. It's quite enough. Thank you very much. Born, when and where, please?
I was born in the town of Lindsay, Ontario. I was living on a dairy farm on Christmas Eve, 1957. In fact, I'm 57, born in 57.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
That is also my condition. For another couple months anyway. So, where do you live now?
I live in Wellesley, Massachusetts.
Please share a farm memory.
I learned how to drive a stick. I learned how to drive a tractor when I was about 8. And I loved driving around the garden on the tractor. I still drive a stick shift to this day, although it's getting harder and harder to find one.
Yes, that's true.
I don't know what's going to happen when I can't. I'm not looking forward to that day.
Well, the good news is that it gets easier. It may not be as much fun or as any of the other things that stick shift does, but at least it's not going in the other direction where they're going to take away the easy one and make you learn something that many people consider more difficult.
Right, true.
Okay. What did you want to be when you grew up?
A lot of different things. I thought about being a musician. I thought about being a lawyer. Probably the one that lasted the longest was being a psychiatrist.
Sorry, psychologist?
Psychiatrist, a physician.
Okay. Who was your first coach?
My mother. My mother was a natural and just had a knack of knowing what to say when you needed it.
Is she still around?
No, she died 20 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Very sorry to hear that. I know you just lost your dad as well. Tell me a hobby or job that filled your teenage years.
One only?
Yeah.
So So I guess I'd pick the jazz band. So my favorite teacher in high school was Donald Allen. Without him, my high school years would have been much less rich. And I played trombone, and we had a jazz band, which is not typical in high school back then, where I was. And to this day, my favorite music is jazz. So he got that started. Now I listen instead of play.
Tell me, please, a jazz musician you particularly admire.
Well, I just saw Keith Jarrett in New York at Carnegie Hall in February, which was such a treat. I fell in love with him in my first career in biotechnology when I was living in England, working for ICI, Imperial Chemical Industries. And the only female colleague I had brought me the CDs for Keith Jarrett's Cologne concert, and I was all alone in England. I was a long way from home and my friends, and I listened to that tape for hours and hours and hours and hours. So he's been my favorite ever since.
So you said that was a concert in Cologne?
That was the recording that was called Cologne. The Cologne
I understand.
concert.
Yeah, the one.
It was
For,
filmed in Cologne. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, the one for me is Lausanne.
Oh, right. Huh.
Oh, some wisdom that you retained from that. Well, yeah. Do you have anything that comes to mind from your experience in the jazz band and with? Oh, please, before we go on, Donald Allen, Allen.
I think it's AN.
Okay. Yeah, some wisdom you retained from that experience.
From the jazz band or from the listening to Keith Jarrett?
I'd say jazz band.
You know, the richness. Jazz is about improvisation. It's edgy, creative. It's not traditional. It's kind of modern. You know, those are for sure. It's collaborative. It's team-based. Those are things I value a lot. The sense of making music together.
Excellent, thank you. I know this is not a really fair 10 words or less question, but do with it what you will. What drives you?
Well, the dominant part of my personality is the achiever. So what drives me is to achieve. And the driver in my biotechnology career was that I really wanted to be part of, you know, the bands, so to speak, that came up with new medicines to treat human diseases, to deal with human suffering. And now that I've moved into the coaching domain, I'm focused on helping humans grow, change, and thrive. And I'm in awe of those dimensions of being human. And so I'm really curious about those. I push myself to grow and accomplish, and I really love to do that with other people.
Excellent, thank you. What is a drawback of accomplishment?
What is a drawback?
Yeah.
Of that? Well, I just came back from doing a workshop in Vancouver. I lived there for a while, and Vancouver is a place of spectacular beauty. And that's the one place where I can happily put work down and just enjoy vacation and downtime. So the drawback of being an achiever is that even vacation has a purpose to lead you to recharge, to achieve more later. So that's so I'm less likely to be playing games, having fun on a routine basis.
I am just loving your answers. These are great. What's the secret of entrepreneurship?
Well, two parts. One is you've got to have a dream that you may be alone with, which means it's got to come from a pretty deep place, because others around you, including your own, spouse and friends, can be naysayers. So you've got to have a dream, a really fiercely held dream that serves as a magnet or a compass and guiding you. And then you've got to be prepared to take big risks and risk everything. I mean, when you start a company, you risk your personal finances, you risk your career development, because you may not be able to go back to your old career. You don't know where you're going to land. So it requires the ability to sit with that huge uncertainty and hold that vision and keep going day by day.
Tell me something you never thought you'd do.
At what stage would I be thinking about that as a young?
You get to
The context.
You can skip any question you want.
I like to answer it. I'm afraid I might be a bit slow.
I'm not worried about that. I think you're doing great.
Okay, good. You can edit that down, I assume. Good. The thing I want to share is confidential, so I think I can't go there.
Okay.
It won't be for long, but it is right now. There is something that's in the back of my mind that Can we come back to that? Let me see if it pops back rather than waste the time.
Sure. Right. Okay. Now, you've talked about this a little bit, but not really. How did biotech become coaching?
Well, that I have to attribute to my husband. So my husband was my biotech patent lawyer when I had helped found and launch a biotech company in Vancouver in '95. And we spent a lot of time talking about patent strategy, and his rates were high, over close to $700 an hour. So I used to write the patent opinions. And we got very close, and he ultimately asked me if I would marry him and move to Wellesley, which is how I got here. And then I had to rethink what I was going to do next with my career. And we were walking on the beach in Tofino, which is on the far west coast of Vancouver Island. It's the furthest western point in North America. And Paul, being a patent lawyer, we were noticing we were missing the .com boom, and he said, well, what's not obvious to do with the web back then? And the web was about one-to-many. And he said, what if the web was about one-to-one? This is long before online banking, where we had a dedicated, account for a human being. And so 4 days later, we left the hotel with Well Coach's name, a patent application on a online platform for one-on-one coaching. We did get the patent issued in 2008, and a brief business plan for Well Coaches. So it came out of looking at the web in a new way, but also recognizing that the vast majority of people are not taking good care of their health right now. About more than half of our health status is under our own control. And we rely heavily on our doctors and medicines and surgeries to fix things. And in general, there's a real gap in people's ability to take care of what they've got that they can control. So I saw that there was a need for a professional that could really help people do that. And so the dream was that we would create the coach, the health wellness coach, that would be the expert in helping people really upgrade their health and well-being.
How often do you get to coach anymore?
How often? I've always got 3 or 4 clients at any one time. So it's not a large coaching practice because I have got 3 organizations that I'm shepherding along. But I treasure my time with my clients. I'm their partner in trying to figure out the complexity and the messiness of their lives and making it work better. And it's a real privilege to sit alongside people because for the most part, we as a culture right now don't spend a lot of time in reflection and building self-awareness. You know, we're mostly focused on doing things and keeping all the plates spinning. And we don't stand back a lot and really look at where am I going? Why am I going there? Is that really what I need to be doing? And it sounds kind of banal, but these are the deeper reflections that we're missing out. And so when we as a coach can be alongside people like that, it's a treasure what people come up with and what they discover and what we learn.
What would you say is the most interesting part of your past week?
So we were delivering a coaching workshop in Vancouver from Thursday to Sunday. And we were doing an exercise where someone would be stuck about what to do next. And we had the group's role play. So someone would play the part that wants to move forward for these reasons, another part that is standing for the reasons not to change, and another part for all the benefits of staying the same. Anyway, there were 4 different parts. So you had this role play of 4 people. And just watching the coaches deal with his complexity and the reality of what keeps people stuck, which is just a joy to watch. I mean, you could say, my gosh, it's hard to watch that, to see how people get stuck. But it is the truth about being human. We have multiple agendas. You know, my newest model is on multiplicity of mind. And, you know, the inner world is not all harmonious. You know, we have different needs and agendas. And how to get them all working together is an amazing challenge of being human. So witnessing that is just a beautiful thing to see. Just how complex it is to be human.
In 10 words or less, a good coach never
assumes anything.
And a good coach
always
I'm sorry.
Never assumes anything. Beginner's mind is very curious.
Excellent. And a good coach always
creates a dynamic that leads the client to have an insight.
Principle of coaching completely applicable to everyday life.
I'll give you 2. To listen without any inner dialogue. So your your brain is quiet. So you're just listening. Sensory focus on just the listening. And second, to set aside the need to fix, help, change. Because we all want others to be better, and that gets in the way because others need to figure it out for themselves. So listening and then getting out of the way in terms of your desire to fix or change.
Thank you. Do you think that wellness could be becoming a passé term?
Well, if you look at the dictionary,
Mm-hmm.
the definition of health or wellness or well-being are the same. Optimal, physical, mental health. So what you're not really talking about is that passé. We're talking about the label being passé.
Yep.
Because everyone wants to thrive. What is, I think, more sexy in terms of thinking about the definition, certainly the positive psychology world has animated the word well-being.
Mm-hmm.
A well-being coach doesn't roll off the tongue very well, so it's a struggle to tie it to coaching, but well-being is a better concept. But what I've been doing, Mark, is moving to discussing the mind, and my book, Organize Your Mind, Organize Your Life. Because what I found in the dialogue with the world around the book is that people are way more concerned about dealing with their chaotic, frenzied minds than the health of their hearts and lungs and limbs. So I'm spending more time framing health, wellness, and well-being in terms of brain function and performance. The starting point's the same. You do the same things for your brain to perform at a great level as you do to protect your heart and your lungs. But the immediacy of impact in terms of brain function is really attractive to people. You know, if I can get up tomorrow, be more creative, more productive, have more energy at the end of the day, mental energy, and feel good. Wow. For me, that's what I want. As opposed to blood pressure numbers or my blood sugar numbers or my cholesterol numbers. You know, people yawn when they think about those.
Tell me, someone who deserves more credit for what they do. Someone specific, someone not in your family, please.
I'm going to answer in a general fashion.
Okay.
Any inventor builds on the shoulders of many, many others. No one arrives at something new without borrowing from many others. And so whenever there is something new, I think that who doesn't get credit are all the shoulders that got stood upon to get to that invention. And I feel a lot of compassion for those folks, because without their contributions early on, the next one wouldn't come. And I think as humans, we tend to forget too quickly what idea led us to our idea. And I think we don't do justice to all the small steps in between. So I'd want to honor all those people who feel like they didn't get the full credit they deserved as the stepping stones to the more visible inventor or invention.
Okay, thank you. What's something people don't understand?
Well, this is something we teach in coaching. So humans have two needs which work in conflict. One is we have and DC and Ryan, the scientists who developed self-determination theory, would say that the need for autonomy, marching to your own drummer, doing things your way, being accepted for who you are, that need is fierce. You know, you see it in teenagers rebelling. It's a fundamental driver. But we also have the need to show off our competence and a need to help people. And so what happens is that we forget about others' needs for autonomy And we move into, let me tell you what you need to do mode. And we drive people away. Certainly our mates and our kids, often our friends, often people who work for us. And so there is this disconnect where we badly want to find our own way, and we badly want to help people find their way. And the two are in direct conflict. And I think we're not aware of how we have this dissonance. You know, on one hand, we don't want to be told what to do, and on the other hand, we're really happy to tell other people what to do.
Yes. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. What is something I should have asked you about that I haven't?
I'd say what's my creative edge right now?
I'm sorry, the word was edge, creative edge?
Creative edge.
Okay, great. What is it?
Well, so first I want to say that I did not consider myself a creative until quite recently, and that's a joy. It took a while to get there, a little late in life, but nevertheless not too late. What I'm having a lot of fun with right now is the intersection of technology and coaching science and brain science. And
I'm sorry, I dropped out just a little bit. I didn't get a word. I'm afraid I won't even get it on the recording. What I'm having a lot of fun with right now is the intersection of blank science.
The intersection of coaching science, brain science, and technology. You know, the web, mobile tools, habit making. How do we help people coach themselves in daily life? How do we turn our devices into our coaches? Instead of having them distract us all day long and fragment our attention span and make us frenzy with overwhelm, what if we could use technology to be our own coach so that they become a machine that's helping us get better as opposed to just, you know, be more productive and have more fun? So that's my creative edge, and I hope it goes on for a while. It's a lot of fun.
Everybody would just get right.
I missed the last sentence.
Yes. Tell me something you wish everyone would just get right.
To make time to let the mind wander without goals. So mind wandering is a state where up here, the default region of the brain is on and you're not focused. You take the leash off your brain. You're not reading emails, you're not talking to anybody. You're just letting your mind wander. And we've lost those moments now. We have no downtime. And that's where creativity happens. And if we don't build those moments into our days, we get stuck. So I'd like to honor mind wandering. Not just mindfulness. Mindfulness has its place too, being present and being awake and being, you know, on active mode, not automatic pilot. But the counter to that is we also need time to unleash the brain without any ambition.
Excellent. I have learned a great deal. I look forward to going back over it and taking it apart for myself. This will, I think I explained this to you beforehand, but so everybody knows. I've been typing, and the reason I've been doing that is I'm going to send Margaret an edited text version of this interview, which will be different, of course, from the video version. And this editing could include removing questions and answers, combining two answers together, rearranging question-answer pairs within how they within the body of the interview, but Margaret will get to see every single thing that I've done and get to say that she approves, so that when it's published, it represents what she thinks. She can, Margaret, you can tell me I left out the important part of the question in my the answer in my editing. I overlooked something. I missed the importance of something. You will get to decide that. So when it is published, even though it's not an exact record of what we said, it will still be true from the essential perspective.
Yeah.
You're okay with that, Margaret?
That's sure. Do you do the editing yourself?
I do.
Wow. So that must be fun.
It is, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, my background is journalism, 30 years. I was at the Globe for 14 years. And back then, you would never change someone's comments. You would never show someone how you edited before. Not in journalism anymore. And the important thing to me is that you know, and that anybody who's listening knows, that I haven't made any changes without you seeing them and you approving them. So it is an accurate reflection of what you think, and that's the most important thing,
right,
to me.
Yeah, wow, that's great. So what's your vision for your work?
I hope to offer coaching. I have had a couple clients already, but my intention is to offer coaching in corporate settings based on my experience, my learning, and my perspectives on my process of change, which at base, although I've come a long way from there, I'm maintaining a 155-pound weight loss for almost a quarter century.
Wow.
And the most important thing I learned in that is that dieting is the wrong focus.
Yeah.
Of course, I needed to change the way I ate, but I needed to change a whole lot more. I didn't understand that. I was arrogant, so sure that I knew all the answers, when even if I had just been able to look around at my life, it would have been clear that wasn't true, but I thought it was. And when I started focusing on a different way of looking at life, at my life flowered not only for weight loss, but in many other ways. And that's what I hope to share with other people.
Yeah, that's great. Nice story. Well, good luck. If I can help you in any way, let me know.
Work with my teachers.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, everyone. And thank you very much, Margaret.
Okay, bye.